Hi, my name is Tara Kachataroff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today, I have as my special guest Wendy Caverly, professional connecting coach at Crusaders Networking. Welcome to the program.
Mhm. I'm very excited to be here. I love this topic. It's one of my favorites.
Me too. And we're going to talk about networking at the holidays and for the new year. So
Mhm.
we got two things going on here today. But before we jump into that, why don't you tell us a little bit, Wendy, about what you do and who you
Mm.
work with when it comes to networking?
Yes. So my name is Wendy Caverly, and I am the owner of Crusaders Networking. And our focus is the skill of intentional connecting for professional success. Most professionals have multitude of goals that they need to accomplish on a consistent basis that will help them accomplish that long-term success that they're looking for. And yet, we all know the secret to success is not what you know, but who you know. So, how do you get to know those people? How do you find the new client, the new referral partner, the new mentor, the new collaboration partner? That's what we focus on, is that high strategic view of intentional connecting, of putting yourself in the right position to find the right people for your success.
And how did you get into this particular area? I know you're a coach, you've been involved in a lot of things online for many years and in person, but how did you
Mm-hmm.
get into this particular niche?
Let's see. So almost 10 years ago, I actually was a credit card processor and I joined a referral group. And over the course of the 6 months that I was a member of that group, plus being a credit card processor, I discovered I was not a good credit card processor salesperson, but I was an amazing connector. I loved finding out what made people amazing and sharing them with others. And I found a way to turn that into a career. That joy and that excitement that people feel when they can make a connection for others is not default, but once they get turned onto it, it opens worlds. So yeah, I have the coolest job in the world. I get to find out amazing people and share them with others.
I really actually love what you do because that's what life's really all about. It's all the connecting and understanding what people are about and all the cool things they do. That's what I love about this program is all the people I've met all over Michigan and all the neat things they do, including what you're doing here with the networking. So, yeah, I can totally understand that. And what a great way to serve as that person who connects others because that's what we're all about, right?
Yeah, and encourages them to do it themselves in their own style. My goal is not to turn people into me. My goal is to give them the strategy and the skills that they can make their own.
And when we talk about the networking, kind of like the Facebook, but the networking. Um, what is like a I mean, I know you're talking a little bit about what it is, but what's a like a the working definition you use day in and day out with your clients when you're talking about networking so we're all on the same page before we dive in?
Yes, networking has kind of become a very misused word. It gets confused a lot as a type of sales or a sales tool or a hunting practice when I truly view it as connecting. Not spotting the prospect in the room, but spotting the prospect in every person you meet. Every person that you meet can play a role in your success. You can play a role in their success. And part of knowing how to connect sincerely is discovering what that mutual benefit will be and in what form. That's my focus, is the foundational network of people, building your own boardroom, exploring that spider web, so when you do receive your human of the year award, you know exactly who to thank and who helped you get there, and this is how you met them.
I love all these analogies you're using.
Yes,
I
I
mean,
love analogies.
me too. It really brings the whole message alive too. But I love
Mhm.
that you know, showing up and like, how can I be the benefit? And I know we hear that a lot, like, what's the value you can offer? But what's the benefit? That word is even
Mm.
stronger than value.
I,
Like
you know what? You're right. It is.
it's good, bene. You know,
I love it. Yes, you're absolutely right, because yeah, there's value seems transactional. Benefit feels personal.
and it feels like you're giving more. It
Yeah.
feels to me it just has a whole different ring to it. I love that. So today we're going to be talking a lot about networking at the holidays and for the new year because we're at that time of the year when we want to make good impressions. People are coming out of staying so much at home. Things are opening up in some ways, and people want to get out there and meet people as best they can. So, what what would you say is we're networking at the holidays? What does it mean to you?
It's actually one of my favorite undervalued connecting activities. Uh, like I said, I have this high strategic view, and one of the goals that I coach, that I myself am looking for, is I'm always looking for an opportunity to connect with a new mentor, a new collaboration partner. These are forward agility connections. These are the people who are going to help you find introductions into larger rooms, into larger clients, larger audiences. And the holiday party is one of those events where you can have an opportunity to meet those people. It's really undervalued, which is one of the reasons that I love it. As businesses grow, as professionals become more successful, they tend to move away from the traditional networking activities. You're not spotting them at the after hours or in the referral groups or even sitting at the tables at the expos. But those decision makers still attend the golf outing every year, the annual dinner every year, the holiday party every year. So, if you are somebody who wants to try to make FaceTime, try to make a connection, try to start something with a decision maker that you normally can't get in front of, the holiday party is a great opportunity to make that connection. That's why I think it's really undervalued as a connecting tool. It is not a sales tool, but a connecting opportunity, a connecting tool for your success. I love the holiday party.
And speaking of holiday parties, what are you seeing and hearing right now about what companies are doing? Are some of them planning parties? I know things are a little bit in the in between stages right now, but what have you been hearing through the grapevine?
So, well, now I cannot speak to all corporations because I'm not internal to them, but the organizations that I am familiar with, I haven't heard anything but the traditional old school. People want to be back in person. People want to celebrate. They want to mix and mingle, and they want that connection. So I have not personally heard of any hybrid options unless it is a large global or multi-state organization. I'm hearing the return to what we consider normal holiday gatherings.
That's good to hear because I'm
Yeah.
not really connected in that way anymore into corporations, and I was wondering, what's going on, and are they bringing them back?
Mhm.
I mean, sure, not everybody's going to come, but I'll
Yeah,
tell you, if when it comes to furthering your career, and it helps to show up whatever way you can show up.
it
You
does. I
know,
mean, I myself offer
out
a
of sight,
holiday
out
brunch
of
for my
mind.
clients,
I'm
and
sorry.
it's all in person. Oh, even I myself offer a holiday brunch for my clients, and they're eager, they're excited, they show up, and it's, yeah, people we're social creatures. It's a social opportunity. Mhm.
So, folks, that's a good reason to work with Wendy. Holiday brunch.
Holiday brunch.
So do you think have you seen anything in terms of, like, people do anything, like organizational meetups or even Christmas party or holiday parties or whatever, people doing them through Zoom at all? Do you see any of that going on?
I haven't seen that yet, but we are just a little bit ahead of the announcements of those events. That's one of the reasons we're doing this today, is so you are prepared in advance. If you need a skill, if you need to know how to do something, if you need the agility to do it, you need it before, not during or after.
Right.
So I have it. Well, I mean, yeah, it's I could the analogy of building the plane versus knowing how to build the plane. And so I haven't heard of any. The only ones that I've heard that might have some form of a Zoom gathering are ones that already are in this format, or the digital world, that they've moved to this digital world anyways.
Mhm.
But there are a couple businesses that I know that are sending holiday gifts
Oh,
directly to the home of their employees or their clients, as opposed to the expectation that you need to show up for it. But a lot of that has to do with people's footprints have expanded, that the people over the last 2 years they've taken advantage of a welcoming digital world and have expanded their connections. I have connections now, not just across the state but across the world. And this gave us, or gives us, the opportunity to work together, to connect, to share each other. But geographically, it's a little bit of a challenge to come to an in-person party. So there are other ways to celebrate with each other, but it is about celebrating the year as well. I don't view the holiday party as an opportunity to make a sale. About making a connection. And that's another reason why I really encourage people to embrace the holiday parties, because the honest answer is people's guards are down. They're not there for business. They're not thinking about business. They're not even really thinking about the challenges of next year. They are strictly there to socialize and celebrate, which is another reason why it's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs, business owners, sales professionals to participate, because it gives them an opportunity to start a bond with somebody that might otherwise have their guard up. And that sounds very manipulative. That's not the point. The point is, the relaxed environment lets you get to who you are as a person, who they are as a person,
Mhm.
as opposed to what perceived value they have to you.
Yep, yep, that makes perfect sense. I like how you
Mhm.
say that. So, when it comes to the holiday party, how do you start networking at a holiday party? What do you need to do before you get there so that you're in the best position to be yourself and to just come across as authentic, and because that's who you
Mhm.
are? But how do you
Yes.
what should you do before?
Say yes. I know that seems like a no-brainer, but if you don't go, none of the rest of this matters. So say yes, and make a plan. I'm a big believer in a plan. Having a plan makes you feel confident, makes you feel in control, and it lets you know that you're making the progress that you intended. So whatever that plan is, it could start with, who are you going to meet up there? Or are you going with somebody? Companions. It is a holiday event after all. Are you going with a coworker? Are you going with a referral partner? Are you just meeting up with people that you like to associate with? Because right there, you've built in your own comfort net. You have other people that can carry the conversation, or lead the way, or just help you stay focused on the point of the event. So before you go, make a plan. What event is it? If it is an internal event, so these are coworkers, these are people in your industry, the goal there is probably just to connect, to socialize, to have that positive experience with each other, maybe even to listen to successes and failures of others. What a great way to learn something is by listening to what other people did first. If it is an exterior event, like an association or a chamber or a networking organization where there's different people and different professions there, perhaps your goal is to use this opportunity to kind of put yourself front of mind again with people that you want to have conversations with next year. That's a great way. I mean, yes, there's holiday seasons are busy, but you could plant that seed of, let's talk after the first of the year. So what is the plan that you want to accomplish?
Mhm.
And one of the other reasons I encourage a plan is, especially for people who are introverted, um, a plan not only makes you feel comfortable and confident, but it usually includes an exit strategy. At what point are you allowing yourself to go home? So make a plan before you go.
All right. Yeah, I love all those things you had to say on that, because it does change your confidence of walking into something, because you know why you're there, what you're going to do, and when you're going to exit, because eventually you do have to go home. But what's most important about
Yes.
what you said about making these connections is you're not doing it necessarily for today. It's what's going to happen in the future as you grow this relationship, because the decisions we
Mhm.
make today, as we know, will determine where we're going to be a year from now or 5 years from now. And who you meet today can make a difference in where you're going to be in the future as well. So it's
Absolutely.
you're building your future brick by brick or person by person as you connect. And yeah, they're not all going to turn into anything, but we're on this planet to meet people and to associate with people and to interface with people, because that's what life's about. We're social creatures. That's what we're here on the planet for. So, so many
Yes.
good things to come from it, and you're kind of like priming your just your the relationships for the future. And
Yes.
everybody benefits that way, because that one meeting at a party, somebody
Mhm.
asked this other person a question, and you go, oh yeah, I remember meeting somebody, and they can go back into their memory bank or get a card and refer somebody to you. You don't know how things will
Yes.
come about. And I've kept business cards, and you have too, probably, or names or whatever in our drawer. We write them on a piece of paper, and we don't look at them, and 5 years later we're talking to that person. You don't
Yes.
know.
Yes, 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 yes to all of that. That's actually one of the things that I love about this approach, especially at holiday parties, is it's a soft approach, which means you actually could be making a raving fan out of somebody else because you didn't come in hot and hard. You didn't, oh, I've been trying to get in front of you for 6 months. Here's my business card. Here's the link to my meeting calendar. I can solve the problem that you have that I don't even know yet. Uh, but coming in with that holiday socialness, conversation starters and things like that, you could actually be oh, you left them with a warm fuzzy. This is a great person. Yes, obviously I'll have that conversation again, and I'll think of them because the connection was soft, it was gentle, it was sincere, and it was at a social activity.
So what about that when you're at the event? Should you have those business cards ready to go, or anything else, or a little tiny goodie bag or something like that? Like, what could you I mean, what do you think people are going to do this year?
I don't know what the individual is going to do. I do take my business cards because you never know, and I think business cards are not dead. I know a lot of people have mentioned that. To me, the business card has become a VIP introduction or invitation, because your business card contains your direct contact information. It's not through a social media link or through a website. It is your cell number, your email address. So I do take my business cards just in case. You never know. Actually, if you're a professional, you should always have your business cards with you, because you never know. I connected with a massage therapist that I ran across at a farmer's market 2 weeks ago. You never know when you're going to need that. Here's my business card. Here's my contact information. Um, so I do take them, but I don't go in with a plan to pass them out. Uh, my goal is, if I have a nice conversation and I've said something of interest, they're going to ask for my card.
And that's
So
kind of
that
an
way,
indicator of a good conversation if they are asking, you know.
right. Right. Because it usually means that they will be open to connecting after the holidays or continuing that conversation.
And
Um,
something about your
so,
card is that you have your picture on it, and I would
mhm,
love when people have their pictures on the card, because I don't necessarily remember faces, when it's been a while, and people look different when they put their hair up or change their hair color. You never know. But I love
yes,
the fact you have your photo on there and your contact
yes.
information. It's a great card that you have.
Yeah, yes, I do. I love a photo on a card too, for the same reason. Because I do keep business cards. I do come across them, and they're great little reminders to reach out and connect with that person. Mhm.
Now, I know you said that, to have that soft approach to this. Is it okay to do an ask when you're at an event?
Mm. For the holiday event, I think it would depend on how you approach it. Because I actually remember you asking me this question, so I've actually thought about that. It depends on the scenario. Um, if you're having an engaging conversation where both parties are actively engaged in the conversation, not one side is being polite and the other side is digging, It could present itself. Um, if you maybe realize that this is an opportunity, this is a chance to for an ask, maybe present the ask as a question, and not a question that is straight up, will you introduce me to your CEO? But I think that's more of a hypnosis thing. You will introduce me to your CEO. I think it's more of a, can you help me? I'm looking for this, because people love to help, right? We don't want to be asked or demanded of, but if we have a solution and people ask for help, and we've having a good conversation, I think it's all in the approach. um or maybe if there is something that you want to ask for or from this person, this might be the opportunity to say, is it okay if I contact you after the first of the year? I would love to continue this conversation. Because
That
unless there's a ticking time clock, you
mhm.
can do that and still get the result you're looking for.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great approach. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
So, do you have one or two things that you would tell people to absolutely avoid when it comes to the holiday party networking event that's related to that um, as we wind up this year?
Don't overstay the conversation. Um, Once again, this is not a business event. It is a year-end holiday celebration. So you don't need to pour the bucket of paint over their head. I happen to know you love this analogy. This is your opportunity to start something, to add another layer to something. You do not need to pour a bucket of paint over their head hoping it sticks, because most of it is going to end up on the ground. So don't overstay the conversation, which is another reason for you to have a plan, because having that plan in the back of your mind will keep you from monopolizing somebody's time or overstaying the conversation. You are planting a seed, you are adding a touch, you are creating a future avenue. And once you have accomplished that goal, move on to the next conversation. So that's a little bit more of an advanced technique, because if done correctly, the other person doesn't realize what you've done. You moved on to another conversation, you didn't overstay the one with them, so they didn't suddenly have a spider sense that, wait a minute, maybe this person is looking for something from me. You
Yeah.
didn't overstay the conversation.
You leave them wanting more. It's kinda like
This one more.
the pink spoon at 31 flavors. I don't even know if that still exists. You get a little
Yes.
taste of ice cream, and it's like, "Well, I'll take a cone or a bucket of it." You know?
Because I want more of this. Yes.
Exactly,
Yes. So
exactly. And
so yeah, so that's a big one. Don't overstay the conversation.
some
Mhm.
people really do wanna just mingle a room and they wanna eat. Like, for
Mhm.
me, like, if you got blood sugar situation, you sometimes have to get food in you because it's
Yeah.
important. So you gotta understand, like, people sometimes are wanna come to just eat and have a drink and just enjoy themselves and not have to think about being on and, like, thinking about work. So, but it's
Yes.
about being really sensitive to the other person and really being aware of what's going on around you.
Yes, again, this is a social. They're there to socialize. It's a soft contact. That's actually one of the great things for a professional as well, because there's no pressure on you either. The only oh, well, that's going to be my tip at the end. So I'm not going to share it yet. Stay to the end. Stay to the end if you want that tip. So
Okay, so, let's say the event is over and,
Oh, I want to talk about alcohol though, because you
oh, okay,
asked.
okay.
Yes, yes. Alcohol at the holiday events is not a no-no. I mean, you're celebrating with people. Have that drink, enjoy that moment. Uh, but my personal advice on when it comes to alcohol is, if it is an internal event, it's a little bit different, because they're your coworkers. As long as you do your job properly 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, over the course of the year, they're a little bit more forgiving of overindulging in alcohol at corporate events, at the company party. But if you are at a random holiday party where like a chamber of commerce, they tend to have really well attended large holiday parties. I do ask that you keep in mind your personal reputation, because you are surrounded by people that you want to think of you as a great professional, as someone they can refer to others, and you will make them look good, as someone they can do business with. And so enjoy the drink, but don't overindulge, because your next year could have that memory in the back of their mind of how you behaved. Yeah.
All right. Good tip. All right.
Mhm.
So, after the event, what would you say about following up? And also, if you could comment quickly on the holiday card situation, yay or nay?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So after the event, follow up. Well, you left them with that expectation. You told them before you parted ways, before you moved on to another conversation, or before you left them, that you would like to connect again after the first of the year. So you can prepare them for that. That's a weird way to say it, but you've planted that expectation. You've created that, when they should hear from you again type of scenario. I do recommend after the first of the year, let if they want to change it, let them change it. Not everybody takes the last 2 weeks of December off. A lot of great business gets done right there at the end of the year. But if you don't make that assumption, if you just say, is it okay if we continue this conversation after the holidays? Then they won't be surprised when they hear from you that first week of January.
And what about sending holiday cards? Would you suggest that? I mean, you can get generic cards or even a New Year card. You can have those made, right? Would
Mhm.
you suggest doing that and trying to send them through?
From a relationship building standpoint, because I thought about this too, I have never, I always appreciate when I get a card from a client or a company that I work with, but I never notice when I don't.
Right.
Um, and and I do tend to send Christmas cards to people I am actively working with because they're front of mind at the time. So I think the holiday card is, I love holiday cards. Don't get me wrong. Please share my PO box because I love getting holiday cards. Please send them in to me. But I don't think it's a make or break for a relationship builder. Yes, because I'm very about the intentional, and that is not less intentional, but I think it's a less effective, to building that relationship. I think it's just it's a nice check in, but it's not a thing. Mhm.
Okay, well said. We have our one final question for you as we wrap up for today. If you could give one piece of advice to entrepreneurs when it comes to networking at the holidays, what would it be?
Mhm. Your primary goal is to enjoy the event. That is the point. You are not there to make a sale. You are not there to close a deal. You are there to socialize, take an opportunity to bond with these people in a casual, relaxed environment. So, your primary goal, first and last, is to enjoy yourself as well. Have that drink, have that conversation, eat the beautiful buffet of food, and then just build the layers of benefit on top of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Wendy, for being a guest on our program today. We really enjoyed learning more about networking at the holidays and for the new year. And I want to thank you again for being our guest.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I very much enjoy sharing my passion.
Thank you. If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join us again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.